Hello and welcome to a brand new rotation here on Audionautic. My name is Kh3rtis.
And I'm Sunwarper.
How you doing, man? What's going on?
I'm doing all right. I've been busy setting up the studio. I finally got the pedals in. Most of my guitars are back in here, so it's coming together. I had a couple of issues with some synths dying at the same time, which is terrible.
That's all
But
you need.
you got to work
That's
around
good.
it. Use some soft synths. Do what you can do. What about you? What have you been up to?
I've been writing. It's all been about the writing these past couple of weeks. The LP, the new album, is being written as we speak. Not as we speak, literally. I mean, I'm talking to you as we speak.
No, I see
But
one of your hands is on your Ultranova. Don't think you can
Oh,
get away
well.
with it. I see it.
yeah. So it's all written. I mean, I've got a few demos down. It's mainly the story. The story is kind of coming to fruition. I can see where it's going, where it's coming, and it's good. It's exciting because after Ebbs, Flows, and Solos, it was kind of like, crap. All right, I got to do all that all over again. Where do I start? And now it's there, and it's feeling good. So now I've just got to write the music that goes with it. That's
nice,
good.
yeah. As this is the start of a new rotation, we're going to be looking at marketing, release promotion, things of that nature. And with that in mind, we have Fraiser from Werra Foxma on today to talk about how he and his label handle physicals.
Yeah, absolutely. They are a young record label that have gone from strength to strength in their time of existence. Fully dynamic, absolutely exciting of what they do, and it's awesome to see them and get to chat with Fraiser. So this week we are sitting down with Fraiser from Werra Foxma Records.
How's it going, guys?
Doing well. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good, thank you. Thanks for being here.
No, thank you for coming on. That's absolutely fantastic of you. Thank you so much. Well, yes, so this is the beginning of a brand new rotation for Audionautic. We'll be sitting down and we'll be discussing the areas around marketing and promotion. And we thought, what better way to get that done and start that off with sitting down with Fraiser. We're here today. We're going to discuss the idea of the record label and how to promote, how to market, and what kind of makes them work as an institution. Sunwarper, there, you've got a bio, do you not, as per usual?
I do indeed. Founded in 2020, Werra Foxma Records is home to some of the finest electronic music from around the world, in tandem with creating exciting limited edition merchandise. So on the topic of merchandise, we want to start by asking, what do you look for in a specific manufacturer of physicals?
That's a good question. I mean, we do a lot of stuff ourselves. I can't take credit for most of it. I mean, I'll sometimes have an idea for something I want to do. That's usually led by the music. We've now got a team for 2021. I mean, I was trying to do it all myself last year. I mean, it grew tentacles that I'd never expected. So rather than me try and, learn Photoshop from scratch and to try and build together a contact mailing list from scratch, I got people involved. And through that, I've got a relationship now with Kate Bosworth, who does Dark Train on Monday nights on Warminster Community Radio. So she does all the design and manufacture for us. So there will be cases where we will go and buy raw materials, and that can be metal tins, it can be vinyl cut graphics, anything. And on top of that, she's got a really strong design aesthetic. She's a wizard with Photoshop. It's what she does as a day job. And she will basically manufacture the sleeves and laser cut them all herself. So when we did the Dawn of Our Concrete Animals 7-inch, we made the sleeves. Plastidis did the lathe cuts, but we did the sleeves because it just, well, for one, it's cheaper, so that we can potentially put more money into artists, PayPal accounts. You would usually say back pockets, but it's electronic transactions, right? So that helps. So if it means that if we've gotten like a run of 50 of something, and we can maybe save 50 pence a unit on making the sleeves ourselves, and we get a glue gun and we glue them all, and we get all the ingredients, we get all the the elements ourselves for bagging them up and getting shrink wraps ourselves and all that. One, it can help from a cost point of view, but two, it feels more organic. It feels like you're really making something special by hand. And we're learning all the time about how to do that. But then there's other instances where it was far better to maybe go with someone to provide an end product, and then we'll add to that at a later point. So we use a number of different sources. There's a great company, based just north of us in Scotland called VP Online. So right at the very, very beginning, where there was no notion of being a proper label, we were just getting card wallets because that was just the most cost-effective way of doing it. And then we found out that, that company also does, digifiles and digipacks and all other kind of manners of packaging for duplication. And that's who we've used for, I'm trying to think here. So that's who we used for Bendu for the Sagittarius album. And that's who we used for Kh3rtis for the Synergism album. But for Ray and Akitani, we went with a company called Band CDs, and they are suppliers of all manner of different special versions of stuff.
One thing that's quite interesting throughout the growth of WFL is the successful nature of your marketing campaign. And the idea of just your promotion, and then the people that buy the success of conversion, if you want to put it in business terms. What avenues of promotion do you explore, and what do you feel makes your marketing so successful?
Be shameless about what you're doing, but be tactful at the same time. I know that sounds like a contradiction in terms, but we can go back to when the real first big bit of marketing that we did at any level was for the Strange Selectors compilation back last summer. And again, I'm 3 months into running a label, literally learning as I'm doing it, making probably arguably loads of mistakes, but at least I'm trying to make decisions to just get stuff done. So many people get paralyzed over what to do that they just never end up coming to agreement over what to do. And that can be like an artist making an album, and they have a 10-track album, and then just as they're ready to send it off to the duplicator, they write an 11th track, which then they need to put in the album, and then what one do we take off? And then it's round and round and round, and I've got scar tissue to prove that, and it's just brutal. So the cool thing with WFR is that we just make decisions and just do it. JFDI, just do it, right? And when it came to Strange Selectors, so Stephen Anderson, Letters from Mouse, hi Stephen, basically came to me a couple of months after we kind of started the label up, saying, listen, we've got this idea for a compilation. So I thought, well, if we're going to promote this, let's just do it as much as we physically can. And there was 4 Strange Selectors DJs. They all had 4 tracks each. And Kate, who I've obviously mentioned before, she's brilliant with videos and graphics and stuff. And so we kind of cobbled along the idea of just making 16 little bite-sized videos that will basically put out daily 16 days before we pre-announce the album. And we just started to, and I'm no Stanley Kubrick. I mean, it was literally iMovie, right? With the Ken Burns thing, and it moves from left to right. Ooh.
Still use that.
cut an edge, right? That was that is the beginning and the end of, because it's just not what I do. Do you know what I mean? But you're learning what you're doing while you're doing it. So, and there was, the little 45 RPM kind of spindle shape thing. That seemed to be the thing that tied it all together. So everybody made loads of different graphical variants of that kind of 45 RPM record spindle thing. And I just made multicolored 30-second videos of it with 30 seconds of audio for each track behind it. I didn't tell anybody about what it was or who the artist was or what the project was. I just put #strange. And that was it. And 3 or 4 days in, nobody's responding to this. And I'm starting to go, oh boy. And then I realized that I'd missed a trick out, because we'd created a Twitter DM group for I hadn't included them in what we were doing. And no wonder they weren't backing it, because they probably did, what's going on here? So I kind of learned that I need to kind of let them know hey guys, this little snippet of track from whoever is going to be happening, and then they would know, and then I would post it 5 minutes later before I started work, usually in the morning. And then it would start to get retweets and, post engagement. And by day 7, like, established people are going, right, what the hell's this all about? And then I figured, we've got you now. So we just kept doing it and doing it and doing it. And I think by the time we got to like day 14 or 15, people are in an absolute froth, because it felt like it was an insiders thing, and people were knocking on the door to get invited into the bike room, right? And it's just like, I need to know what this project's all about. And then by day 16, put the last track up, and then the following day, Kate made this 2.5-minute catch-all video explaining what we were doing and naming all the artists that were involved. And I think we got something like 10,000 Twitter engagements out of that. Well, that's only 9,500 more than I've ever. I've never. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. We just launched it. We agreed to make 100 CDs, which I was super nervous about. I'm like, I know I said I'd cover the cost of manufacturing, but 100 CDs, really? And we sold 75 of them in the first weekend. And we sold the rest out within 4 days of launch. All of that was as a result of just being relentless with your message. There's no secret sauce to it. There's no promotional expenditure either. So we didn't buy a bunch of, that kind of thing that you do on social media where you give them a bunch of money and then they'll reach out to people who are interested in it by
good old Facebook ads.
Yeah, and it's tempting, but we thought, well, we don't really have the budget for that. And on top of that, everything that we were making was going to Doctors Without Borders. So we didn't want to eat into the PayPal check that we're going to give them. So I thought, well, let's just try and do it organically. And so everybody had the Bandcamp Yum codes to send out to, Daydays and, bloggers and all that kind of stuff. So it was a pure team effort. Everybody got involved. Everybody chipped in. And to sell out 100 CDs from a 3-month-old label in what's considered a non-CD buying universe, no one can tell me that nothing's impossible anymore. So in terms of answering your question directly, we literally just got everybody to say, listen, this is what's happening. We'll build a little bit of mystique behind it, like pretending to be like Factory Records or something like that by not putting the name of what we're doing on the very videos that we're doing. And then just using the fact that there was so many established artists within the scene that are on this one compilation for a good cause. People weren't even realizing it was for charity. They were just buying it. And then they'd look around the back of the CD. Oh, there's a Medicine Sans Frontières logo. All right, that's also cool. So they were buying it in spite of the fact that it was for a good cause. So yeah, it's just a question of being relentless, not being embarrassed about what you're doing, because some people get, oh God, right, I'm sorry, I'm bugging you, but here I'm selling my single again. There was none of that. There was just, we're doing this, we're going to make it completely, irrepressible, and it worked.
Yeah, I like that mindset. It's good, and I think that's something a lot of us can learn from. And on the topic of CDs, how much input from the label perspective do you have on each artist's artwork, things of that nature?
It can vary. I mean, some artists will deliver a product completely fully formed. I mean, I can't speak for everybody else in WFR, but I absolutely love it when people bring me artwork because it's half the battle. So Soulflash, Tom Herdman brought brilliant artwork to the table. Right after Strange Selectors, I had the confidence to say, do you know what? If people recommend us as a label to maybe release other people's music, then I'm open to that conversation. And Soulflash was the first one. And the Twilight of Flight's an amazing album. But what made it even more special is that, I mean, again, we only made a limited amount of CDs, not like 10 copies like, some labels do. And then they can say, yeah, we sold out. It's like, sold out 10 CDs. You probably bought 4 of them yourself. Chill out. But for a limited run that we had, Tom managed to find Aviator collector cards. And they were all different. So even though that they were only really, it was a really kind of, entry level card wallet, you're getting something in there that no one else has, right? So there's the unique selling point for the thing. So no 2 releases are going to be the same. So you get down to the point where you want to have input, but you're also quite happy that an artist has already given you an idea that you can then take the ball and run with.
So with all that, essentially, that when you speaking about your forthcoming releases, you're selling an experience as well, not just the music that goes with it. You're selling the merch that goes with it. It's an experience when they open that up, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, and part of the whole experience is, I mean, I can only really tell you how I feel as a music purchaser, and we've all done it. And because we're in this COVID world where we're ordering everything online and everything is getting shipped by the heroes of distribution, and you get a record or you get a parcel through the post and you know exactly who it's from because the record label's logo's been stamped on the back, or the packaging is exactly how you would expect it, and then you open it up and then you take it out the thing, and then there's like a handwritten note, and it's all been put together in such a way that, God, there's some effort here. And then you finally you feel bad for opening it because you're having to destroy something that's obviously been hand wrapped to get to the music, and then you get it, and then, oh wow, it's not just a CD, it's a CD with a handwritten thank you note from the owner of the label or the artist themselves, and then there's stickers that you didn't expect, or there's button badges you didn't expect, or even a Yum code for back catalogue for free that you didn't expect. That illustrates that if you put maximum effort into a release and do unique physical things, and you show them to people on top of amazing music, you can reach places that you didn't really believe that you could reach.
Yeah, I like that. You're crafting a unique experience. It's not just something you put on and listen to in the background. There's a whole aesthetic behind it. So what is in store for 2021 for Werra Foxma?
So there's oh God, right. So we've got a full calendar. I can tell you a little bit about what's happening in the kind of first 6 months. So Autumna's album, it's a compilation album. So there'll be 2 CDs in it. That will hopefully be coming out probably late March. We've got a few new signings, to the label. So we're going to be releasing a debut LP from Ian Lake, who's a tremendous artist from London. So he's on board with us. Funny story, he provided a guest mix for Magic Window. It was like a month ago, whatever it was. And my routine in December last year was literally on a Sunday night of Magic Window in the headphones, NFL on the TV, and the ironing board up, ironing as I go, right? True multitasking, right? And then it goes on, and I swear to God, I'm not lying about any of this stuff. I just wouldn't lie. But 2 minutes in, and I'm like, the iron is housed in its housey thing, unplugged. Grab my phone, and I'm finding Ian Lake.
That's fantastic. I mean, it's wonderful to see you speak with such passion around this and have such kind of drive to do well for the artist in this day and age. I mean, it seems to me that the artists are very much in safe hands with you.
There's a couple of reasons for that. One, I've got over my imposter syndrome. I got over that when Colin from Castles in Space, when we were talking about Donovan here, gave us a list of people who he would potentially have remix one of our tracks. And there's obviously, we've got loads of stuff happening next year. And when you told us that there was a possibility that we could have the Orb remix this idiot, I couldn't believe it. And I was like, you've got to be joking. And I'm still in full denial mode that this was happening in real life. You go from releasing your debut album in the March to the Orb listening to the new album that you've just made for your new label and loving it and saying, yeah, can I remix that track, please? And then when you get the track back, the remix back, and Colin likes to do everything on Twitter DM, and he's like, dudes, check your emails, and it's the WeTransfer file for the Orb remix of your tune. And you play it out loud in the studio, and I just burst into tears.
Yeah, well,
I don't want to bring my artists that are on WFR to tears, but I want them to feel that we really care here. We care so much that we are not going to put 50 LPs out on the label this year. The idea is to have one studio LP a month. And that will allow there to be a natural marketing strategy behind each one. You try and fail in music all throughout your life, and then all of this stuff happens to you in the space of 9 months, and it's all a bit dazzling. And that's what you want for other people that want to work with you. And if we get that reaction and artists can see people feeding back, I mean, it happens all the time on Twitter. Oh God, new thing from Werra Foxma came through today, and there's like a picture of them fighting to unravel the twine that Hazel's tied lovely in a bow. And then, oh God, I can't believe, I can't wait to listen to this today. And then I'll retweet that and tag the artist, and they're like, oh, wow. That's what it's all about for me. It's just trying to go the extra mile and making the little things as unforgettable as possible.
It really comes through. Thank you so much, Fraiser, for coming and sitting down with us today. It's been absolutely fantastic to sit and talk to you.
Appreciate it, guys. Take care.
That was an incredibly insightful talk with Fraiser. The biggest thing I took away from that is that he and the team at Werra Foxma craft a unique experience with every piece of merchandise that they create.
Unique experiences, right? Yeah, I mean, you're not just buying a CD, you're not just buying a vinyl, you're not just buying something. You're buying into an experience. You know, from what we can see, from what he's got planned in 2021 with the artist going forward. You know, all these special editions and all these limited editions, rare editions, that kind of thing. It's more than just the music, which is absolutely just so dynamic. You know.
Yeah, and I think that's a key takeaway that any artist can get from this is that, yeah, you can just make a CD on a website that ships it out or whatever, and that's awesome. And it's amazing that that exists in that way. But if you really want to do something special, it it makes such a bigger impact if you really put your heart into it and create something that's special between you and the person that bought it.
Mm. I mean, it opens up exploration for new conversations in that front about how to distribute, how to merchandise your own content, that kind of thing. Which, as we go through this rotation, I'm sure that we will explore as fully as we possibly can. For now, if you wanted to come say hey, we are on the Discord. You can come and find us there. We're on all the social medias, Audionautic and Audionautic Sounds on Instagram.